Online? Yeah. Good morning and welcome to our February 21st meeting of the Graham County Board of Supervisors. Hope you had a good weekend. We will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Cindy Orr from our Treasurer's Office.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Cindy. And Mr. Orr, welcome. We will begin our meeting. We have a medium-sized meeting, so we'll begin that with our sheriff discussing a couple of grant requests. Sheriff Allred. Okay, I'll get back to that.
Okay, good morning, gentlemen. Yes, we're just asking, you're exactly right, for a couple of grant requests. One of them we're wanting to apply for, and both these we apply for these every year. So it's kind of it's something we bring to you all the time. But the first one will be approval to apply for the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission Drug, Gang, and Violent Crime Control Program. That's the first grant that we're going to ask for. Approximately $26,000 we get out of that.
Very good. Any discussion?
None here. It's just a repetitive grant, isn't it? Just renewing it.
No, Chairman, no questions. If there's no other questions or comments, I'll move that we approve the application for the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission Drug, Gang, and Violent Crime Control Program.
I will second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. And we do appreciate those funds. A lot of it's overtime, isn't that right?
Most of the time, yes.
Yep.
Which is very grateful for us to be
Absolutely.
able to have that stuff for us, to be able to work things we need to work, which comes into our second one. We're asking for approval to apply for the governor's officers, also highway safety grant, and also DU overtime grant and the STEP grant, which are overtime grants. Combined, they're about $35,000 together.
Okay. Any discussion, comments?
None. Make a motion. Danny, have anything?
No. Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve to apply for the Governor's Office of Highway Safety DUI overtime grant and STEP overtime grant.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much, Sheriff.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Both of those motions carry.
Appreciate it.
I need to backtrack just a little bit and kind of a formality, but it's an important one to approve the minutes of our regular board meeting and work session held February 6th.
So moved.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. Thank you. County Attorney Scott Bennett.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is kind of a fun thing to bring in front of you. The ongoing One Arizona opioid litigation has reached its next step in becoming resolved. The collection has reached a settlement with some of the distributors of the various opioids, specifically Walmart, Walgreens, and a few others, CVS, some not necessarily in our county, but they are agreeing to settle. I think I provided you previously with what the settlement amounts will be. Ultimately, this would, if you choose to adopt the settlement, it would follow the same scale that the previous settlement did. So our percentages will be just like they were. It won't be as much money coming in because the main money was coming from the manufacturers as opposed to the distributors, but it will be money coming into the county. It would have the same restrictions and obligations that our previous settlement has. So if that is something that you would like to do, it is ready and we just need to sign off on it.
Okay, couple questions I have, and then I'll turn it over to the board. You say the manufacturers have not entered into an agreement. Is that pending, or have they found a way to not be responsible?
I'm sorry, perhaps I apologize if I misspoke. They have. Okay. We settled the first phase that was with Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, a few of the other manufacturers. As they negotiated the case, they started out kind of with the biggest fish at the top, and now they're working down. So that phase one was with several of the manufacturers where we've already entered into a settlement.
Okay.
Phase two is now with the distributors.
Thanks for
and I apologize, I may have misstated.
Is that a 20-year payout schedule? Is that is that what this one will be for the retail outlets?
I don't know the specific length. I don't think it was 20 years. I think the highest paying one was 17 years with a big chunk up front, which the county's already received the first 2 years of payments, I believe. This will be similar in nature.
Very good. And what is your recommendation? Ultimately, and your office's recommendation?
Our recommendation, it's rare that someone says, hey, we want to give you money where you guys have never personally filed a lawsuit. I love this idea. Our remedy, if we don't do it, would be to file a lawsuit, which I would just add that several of the people who are willing to give us money don't even have retail locations within the county. So certainly this would be a much bigger pot and would not require us to litigate this. So my recommendation is that we move forward and jump on. My understanding, I think nearly every municipality who is part of this in the state is planning on jumping on board.
Okay. Any other discussion or comments?
I think I'm clear on this. Everybody thinks we're going to get this tremendous amount of money pouring into us, and I think it's going to be more like a trickle effect. Am I correct? It is a lot of money, but it's coming in a long period of time and slowly comes in. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's a multi-billion-dollar settlement. However, 50%-ish goes to the state right off the top, and then there's a percentage that breaks down throughout the various counties and cities and whatnot. And then it comes in over time. Right. So it will be a nice influx, but there are very specific guidelines on what we can use it for. And, you know, it will be nice to have to help with opioid-related issues.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Chairman, I'll move that we approve the settlement agreement against Teva, Allergen, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart as part of the One Arizona Plan lawsuit.
And I will second that.
Thank you, supervisors. And I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next we have representing the Treasurer's Office, Lori Boren, with a request to waive interest and penalties on a parcel.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here this morning regarding the request to waive interest and penalties on parcel 104-39074. Again, this is the statute that allows if a mortgage is paid off within a year, the board has the authority to waive interest and penalty. And so I am here requesting that for this parcel. They did meet all the criteria listed in the statutes.
Any discussion? I understand this is just a one-time and it's a relatively small amount, around $80-some, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
I have no discussion.
No questions. Chairman, if you entertain a motion,
yes.
I'll move that we approve to waive the interest and penalties on parcel 104-39074 per allowance by ARS 42-18053.
And I will second that motion.
Thank you, Supervisor Smith and Howard, and I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And in the absence of our Justice Palmer, we're going to have Judge Palmer. We're going to go ahead and have our county manager take care of a couple business items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Judge Palmer and our Justice of the Peace Court requested an appointment of Mary Aiden as a Justice of the Peace pro tempore. We received a letter from our presiding judge, Michael Peterson, recommending approval of the appointment to the board. I understand there was a situation where they needed this prior to coming to the board, so this is a request for ratification. And with that, I'll present that and request a favorable recommendation.
Any questions? I've never met Judge Mary Aiden, and going to approve her appointment solely on the recommendation of yourself and the Judges Palmer and Peterson. But I guess that's good enough for me. But it'd be nice if we knew, because she's not even in our county, is she?
She's the municipal court judge
Oh, is
for
she?
the city of
Okay,
Safford.
I just
So
haven't
she's
met
a
her. Okay.
sitting judge, and yeah, she,
Okay,
from all accounts, she does a great job.
okay, very good. Thank you.
There's no other discussion. I will make a motion to approve, to ratify appointment of pro tempore Judge Mary Aiden for Graham County Justice of the Peace.
And I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Next item.
This next item, Mr. Chairman, we have a new accounting clerk over at our Justice of the Peace. I believe she starts today. I don't see Cindy in here. So Alex Proto was our previous one. This agreement that Judge Palmer is requesting, I believe, is just for 2 weeks, just to help her get up to speed. It is a single position. There's no backup for this position. So we worked with Judge Palmer to put this together and agreed that it would be appropriate just to get our new legal clerk up and going, basically, for the first couple weeks.
Very good. Any discussion or comments?
None.
It's a short-term, limited contract. I think that if she works 40 hours a week, I think it's maybe 3 weeks. But anyway, that'd be maximum of $3,000. So and that kind of training, that kind of continuity is invaluable. So I'll be in favor when we vote.
Chairman, I'll move that we approve the consulting agreement with Alexandria Proto to perform training for the accounting and legal clerk position.
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have our Planning and Zoning Director, Steve McGoy, with an appointment for Supervisor Smith's district.
Good morning, gentlemen. We're here to seek your approval from Danny Smith's district for reappointment of Gene Robert Larson to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Larson lives in Supervisor Smith's district and has been on the commission for quite some time. I can't find where he started, but I believe it was in the early 70s. Yeah. Have any questions? I'll try to answer them.
I just comment, and that is there's on the national scene, there's been some discussion about candidates being too old to serve, but I guess they really should look at Gene Robert Larson, and if he can serve well, then they can too. I'll entertain a motion if there's no discussion. And he's served admirably and made some remarkable personal sacrifices, including flying in from out of country when he was in another country doing some church work to make the meeting. So that's He's quite an individual and friend. Any other discussion or comments?
Chairman, I'll move that we reappoint Gene Robert Larson to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
And I will second that.
And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
Next, our county manager.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we want to thank Mary Bingham for serving as our county treasurer. She has issued the Board of Supervisors a letter indicating that she is retiring and her last day will be February 27th. Upon notice, we created a public notice for the courier and ran it for a couple weeks seeking resumes to fill her position. And we received one application, which has been included in your packet, which is Cindy Orr, who, as you all know, works in the treasurer's office. And this agenda item is to consider appointing someone to replace Miss Bingham. And this individual would serve until December 31st, 2024, at which point they could choose to rerun in the 2020, or prior to that, could choose to rerun in the 2024 election. So with that, our recommendation would be to consider the lone applicant we received. As staff, we would recommend Cindy Orr. She is an incredible employee and would do a fantastic job.
Any comments?
Yeah, I've known Cindy a long time, her and her husband Ralph. I think she is an outstanding lady and along with that, a great friend. So I think she does an outstanding job up there, and I have all the respect in the world for you and all the trust in the world for your ability to do this job. So, welcome.
If you got one application, that'd be the one you'd hope for.
I agree completely. Yeah, I was impressed, Supervisor, with the even letters of support from within her peers within her office and people who have been there a long time, and that's goes a long way. And the fact that you were the lead accountant for the mine, I'm so grateful that you're here, that you chose to come and work here and not on the hill, and so I'm really pleased. Like you said it perfectly, Supervisor Smith. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Cindy Orr as the county treasurer to serve in office beginning here February 27th, 2023 through the term ending December 31st, 2024.
And I will gladly second that.
Make that unanimous. Thank you and congratulations.
Is this the only chance we? Yeah. Is this our only Mary send-off, or will there be another one? Otherwise, I'd say thank you, Mary, for your service. And
no, I think that she and Darley John had some kind of a deal going on there. They were going to have some kind of a no.
I still think she owes us a speech one of these days.
Well, but not today.
We planned an event for Thursday afternoon in the office.
Okay. All right, great.
That'll be great. Thank you. Our next item of business is to just to give an account of our stewardship and opportunities to work in the community and some of the things that we're involved in. We'll start with our county manager, Dustin, if you would like to present your
Sure, thank you,
activities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just touch on a couple of things. Our respite center project with the Good Samaritan Home is underway. Richardson's Construction has started the demolition on the respite center facility and have made some pretty good strides already. So we're excited that that project is officially underway. We have a number of bids that we're opening today that we're excited about. There's a lot going on at the fairgrounds. We have a new portion of the staff report. I want to thank Trey and Rose for creating this. numbers on our rentals that we'll be able to see monthly and see how we're doing out there. But you can see from the parks report, there's a lot going on. Our next bid that will open, other than today, is on March 6th for fairgrounds painting. This has been a pretty extensive project already, just putting together a scope of work and putting that together. So we're excited about that, and we have several other projects that we're going to try to pull together before the end of this fiscal year. So we're real excited. And just the last thing I just want to point out, the highway department has spent a lot of time on the drainage ditch on Choya Drive. Cleaning out the ditch and the gabion baskets have been a huge project. I don't see Steve here, but I think the number of baskets we did was around 70 to improve that drainage through there. So we're really hopeful that solves a lot of the issues that we've had in there. That was a pretty big project. The Cottonwood crossing on Klondike Road, that grant was submitted to DEMA, and we received some follow-up questions last week, which we answered, and we're hoping to hear today some more news, either more follow-up questions or hopefully some good news that we'll receive that project. So we're real hopeful on that one. And like you, board, we are answering a lot of questions on a daily basis from CSA with legislative questions concerning the various bills that are coming at us almost too quick to manage. But we're very grateful to have CSA to sift through those thousands of bills and direct us to the ones that we need to be watching. Playing a lot of defense right now like we do, but we are turning questions over to Robin and Vanessa and staff as quickly as we can. So that is taking a lot of our time, but definitely time well spent as we get through the session. So that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Next we'll go to Supervisor Smith, who gets the award for the most travel miles. He really took one for the team, going to Washington D.C. and sleeping in a strange bed and for all those nights.
Thank you, Paul. No, I did get a chance to go to the National Association of Counties legislative conference, it's called. It happens every year. There's a committee I serve on that's called the Community Economic and Workforce Development Committee, along with dozens of other people. It's a difficult place to feel like you're moving the needle forward there in Washington, D.C. But the one thing you do realize is that when you go to get a chance to meet with Kirsten Sinema or Mark Kelly, and there's people before you and people right after you, right, that are coming into the office, but if you weren't there, everyone else is there, and so it's important in that way, I would say. We did get the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack all spoke to us, and Joe Biden himself talked to us on Tuesday. So they at least know that we're there, and everyone seemed responsive. And of course, ECO, our Eastern Counties organization, that Paul is our representative in and serves us well there. Paul didn't go, so I kind of filled in that way. We got to meet with the head of the Forest Service and talked about issues important to ECO, and otherwise it was a good trip. Yeah, thanks.
Invaluable, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Supervisor Howard, Vice Chairman Howard?
Yeah, been pretty busy here lately, but on the 7th I attended my regular Gila Valley meeting, and it was nice to know that the San Carlos Lake is getting fuller than it was. At that time it was 51% capacity, which is good news to our farmers for their water allocation. And then on the same day, I attended the Drug Coalition meeting. The 8th, I had a special board meeting for the House of Hope to solve some problems there, and we did successfully. And on the 9th, I did a Zoom meeting with the Gila Valley Watershed meeting on this ongoing study that we've had to litigate our flooding or mitigate, I should say, our flooding and flood control over the valley. And on the 14th, I attended the U of A Ag Extension meeting out in Solomon, which was very, very good and informative. 16th, I wasn't able to travel with y'all to the CSA board meeting, but I zoomed in. And on the 17th, I attended the State Transportation Board meeting, which was quite informative and eye-opening, and seeing what the state board did for us here, and our opportunities that we have coming up that we can improve our roadways here locally. And then yesterday, I was invited to introduce Juan Siscomani at the Lincoln Day luncheon down at the college, which was a great honor. And following that, I had the opportunity to go up to the Lone Star Mine and give him a tour of that with Sean Wynnum and other Freeport officials. So it was a great day. Been busy. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you very much. And over the last couple of weeks, started out with the Graham Greenlee Transportation meeting. That's primarily the vans, where the door-to-door transport, that to monitor that, to make sure that they've got the funding and the administrative ability to be viable and continue to serve Graham and Greenlee County. Later the evening on the 7th, went to a Gila Valley Veteran Services meeting, and the following day a couple of webinars. One was with the Arizona Department of Housing, and also the House Transportation Committee hearing. And the following 2 days, I was in Benson with SEGO. We did a strategic planning meeting. Well, it was a retreat where we are getting ready to search for a new director and to reset our goals for our area. The next week, there was a Safford City Council meeting on Monday, and also Arizona Department of Housing, where I've been monitoring, and I'll report on that at the end. Rural Caucus, I went to Phoenix the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and met with the Rural Caucus. These are senators and representatives. You'd think it would be most of the people, because it's 13 of the 15 counties are on the Rural Caucus, and they basically are championing the needs of our rural, both transportation and any kind of a rural issue. But they're a great group to get to meet, and so we hosted them for lunch. That's the Rural Transportation Advocacy Council. Next day, testified. We've got 3 bills or 3 projects in our county. One's 8th Street in between First Avenue and Thatcher and 20th Avenue, and it's a $5 million widening and path project. And then we've got a tally wash, as well as a project at the Ray Lane and Norton Road. So testified, there's a $300 million package for all of rural Arizona. Our 3 projects are included in that, so I was advocating as the chairman of the Transportation, or the Advocacy Council Board, for that, and testified, and that passed both the committee that day and yesterday passed through another committee. So it's with a wide margin. So we're making progress. We won't know until they get down to advocating or negotiating the budget to see how much of that stays intact, but we're hopeful. Thursday, Board of Supervisors, the CSA, County Supervisors Association Board meeting. Then I came home and met Friday morning with the Auditor General's office, and also with the Arizona Department of Housing and Arizona Department of Environmental Quality on some conferences. The Arizona Department of Housing, they have there's gonna be an organizational meeting on tomorrow at 2 o'clock at the Chamber of Commerce. They're meeting to set up what they call continuum of care for Graham County. And this is all the people who are concerned about issues with housing, affordable housing, housing for people who are homeless, not a dormitory, but just transitional housing. And there's all the providers are meeting tomorrow at 2, and to set this up. And this meeting will enable Graham County to qualify. There are 15 counties, 13 of them already have this. Graham and Greenlee are the only counties that don't have continuums of care and are eligible for Arizona Department of Housing funding. And so we're organizing that and getting Graham County at least to be eligible, and then we'll go from there as far as projects, and that's my report. Okay, next we have approval of of demands and handwritten warrants.
So moved.
Second.
I'll make that unanimous. And a public hearing, we'll enter into a public hearing from our board meeting, and Steve McGoy will give us a couple of requests for road names.
Good morning again. Have two road names to have hearings for here. The first of which is Family Way. This is out behind Joby's in Desert Hills. If you remember Mary Johnson coming in and asking back when there was a gas leak near her home, and she was hoping that we could push through and get another way out of there during emergency times. This is step 2 of 3. This will serve, there's 4 5-acre splits south of that road. This will serve all 4 of them. The 3 north ones don't intend to split at this time. They intend to just build, but the south one does intend to split. So across that, we will get a connector road that will put those 2 together, and hopefully that does actually happen. But at this time, we just, in order to get addressing started on these north 3 lots, we need to get a road name approved. This was applied for by and agreed to by all 3 of the north owners.
Very good. And your recommendation is approval?
I recommend we get it named.
Okay. Any discussion?
Nope. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the name request on our behalf to change the name or name the road Family Way. The address starts at parcel 103-27199, runs along the east side of the border through parcel 103-27202 from 40th Street, Safford.
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you.
And our second, I guess there's nobody here to talk to either of these, but because it's a hearing. The second one is Delbert Drive. This is gonna come south off of Safford Bryce Road, just east of Skinner Back Acres and west of Skinner Lane. So you can imagine it's mostly Skinners in there. This is in naming, I believe he's a relative, but this is a memorial to Delbert Hall, who passed away a few years ago, that used to live in that area. And the Skinners are the ones who are gonna use it though.
Very good. I knew Delbert. He was a kid brother of a classmate. Any discussion?
No. I'll make a motion to approve the road name Delbert Drive, situs address south off West Safford Bryce Road, Safford.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. I did have a question before you leave, though, and that is, in the past, I've inquired about whether or not we're charging a sufficient amount of money to cover our expenses with, when we erect the signs and the posts and the foundations. And didn't know if there was any movement on that, if we know what our actual, especially with material costs, if we know what our costs are versus what we're charging, if that's in alignment.
I don't know what the highway department charges to put up a sign or to order it or any of the pieces or parts. I do know that every permit for a new home gets charged $50 to go toward those street signs. So last month we charged, I don't know how much we charged in $50 fees, but it's well in excess of the $150 we charge to change a road name. We only charge $150 now. If that's not enough, the highway department needs to get with us and we can change that fee, but this $50 per permit has to be covering those fees.
Okay. We can talk offline and make sure that we're, to find out, I guess, do we share, do we underwrite, or is it the people who are building who are responsible for the costs? And we'll just have that discussion outside this meeting at a work session. So thank you very much. Okay, our next three items, we've called to the public, and then we're opening bids, and then we have an executive session. And so I'd like to go to call to the public, and then anyone who would like to stay for the bids, sometimes reading the bid tabs can be time consuming. So we'll call to the public first. Is anyone online? Anyone here who would like to speak? Hearing none, we'll, oh, by the way, we've left our public hearing meeting and we're back in our regular session. So next we'll go to anyone who'd like to be excused, certainly welcome to. If not, we'll go ahead and open the bids. Our first one is the Fairgrounds Exhibit Building Insulation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You'll have two bids right there if you want to mind opening them. This is a project that, of course, was budgeted at the beginning of the year. This is to insulate buildings 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the fairgrounds. We've been doing a lot of work on those buildings. We've installed fans. We've added swamp coolers to them, and we've done some improvements on the roofs lately and on the doors. So this is one of the biggest projects on these buildings, of course. Included with the insulation, they'll also be painting the interiors of all the insulation with fireproof paint. So this is a big project and a great improvement. We received, again, 2 of those. So
first bid is from New Insulation Concepts. They're from Pima, and I'll let you.
New Insulation Concepts, total cost $103,000 to $103,251.
And the second bid is from ALCC Corporation. I don't see they are out of Tucson.
ALCC Corporation, total bid $249,000.
Very good. Any discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Chairman, I'll move that we submit the bids to staff for review and conformity, and go forward on the lowest conforming bid.
And I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Well stated. Next is a ballpark concession, and we have just one.
Just one. This is a bid in the other direction. We're We each year offer our concession stands to nonprofit organizations to run the concessions from March to October. And I think the minimum asking is $1,500. Is that right, Trey? So minimum ask is $1,500.
Graham County Substance Abuse Coalition has submitted the bid. They're local.
Well, there it is. Total bid $1,900.
Very good. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to turn this bid over to staff for review and award the lowest conforming bid.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
And we'll make that unanimous.
All right, this next bid is our CDBG project, Community Development Block Grant. We received this grant from SEGO on a rotating basis with Safford, Thatcher, and Pima. We have it available every 4 years. The project that we identified through a public hearing back almost a year ago was a project out at the fairgrounds to put a rubber floor underneath our playground, as well as install ADA sidewalks in a few places, and also construction concrete pads and provide ADA drinking fountains. So this bid does not include the drinking fountains. That would be done in-house. This bid is just for the rubberized floor, some of the ADA sidewalks, and then a few of the pads for the drinking fountains.
Ron Cox Builders has submitted the only bid.
Yes, Ron Cox Builders, and their total bid amount is $237,491.
Very good.
I think we are allocated about 265,000, so that'll leave us about 30,000 for drinking fountains. Won't get us as many as we'd like, but that'll get us a few.
And I would note, Seago's not here, but Seago was 100 pages of documents to conform with the federal regulations on CDBG, and wanted to thank Seago for their assistance and guidance in that process.
Absolutely. They've been great.
I'll entertain a motion for.
Yeah, Chairman, let me add also, I'm just pleased that we're getting it done. You know, it's a big number, 237,000. We always knew it would be 200 plus to replace the rubber chips and put a solid padded, surface out there. And I'm just glad that we were able to finally do it. And that's the reason we haven't done it sooner, because it's such a big price tag, and so glad to get it done. With that, I'll move that we send the one bid to staff to review for conformity and approve and go forward with the lowest conforming bid, albeit we have just one bid.
And I will second that.
We'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much. We are through our business section. We now move into executive session, where we'll be getting some guidance from our county attorney's office on planning and zoning ordinance edits. Thank you very, very much. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much for your being a parliamentarian this morning.
Who was the first on that?
Oh, John, okay.
Legislation came under 110.
Kay from Chamber of Commerce, who's also on search for this one, asked if we could do some more on more from the settlements of, whether we put it on the website or something. She has some frustration. Family, and then also for the public. Now we just put out a thing, I don't know, people are really happy with it. I know they have this vigil, and I don't know if the vigil is like they come and worship to vigil. I don't know if they're looking at my, I reconcile that it's gonna be. If that's the case, then we're gonna just keep moving forward. Thanks for sharing. Okay, we have completed our executive session. We are back in regular session at 9:37. Is there a motion needed? So
Make a motion to adjourn out of executive session.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Now we're in our regular session, and with no further business, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Yep, see ya.
You're welcome.
No, seriously.